Hi guys, how's it going? Mike here. So today I'm on a late drive, so I thought I'd bring you guys along and maybe talk about the car a little bit. The Fiat Abarth, that is. This car is a 2015 model. It's a Fiat 500 Abarth. No mods or anything like that. Everything to this car is factory. So, and I like it just like that. I'm not trying to spend much on it, at least not now. So first thing I love about this car is the price. Now this car starts around $22,000-23,000, brand new from the dealer. But this specific one that I'm driving came in at midway 20,000, right? So between 21 and 20,000, which was I thought was a great deal. And at the time when I was shopping around for a car, and I was looking at the Fiat Abarth, a lot of dealers had sales just like that. Like the price was just slashed for some reason. And so, again, at first I thought I was getting a great deal, which I was. But then I researched more, and apparently what happened was, at least here in California, Fiat overproduced these cars. So you see a lot of dealers just slashing the prices down, and you're saving, a few $1,000s on a brand new car. Again, which was a good deal for the customer. So the price was definitely attractive when I looked at all the cars in the same price range and the same performance range. I thought the price was pretty good. So yeah, check on that. But then also the downside to having the overproduction for this car is the resale value. Now, I'm not gonna say that the resale value is way out there, but I mean it's definitely in the average range when you think of other cars and how much resale value it holds. This car loses a lot of its value right out the window. So if you were to just drive out the dealer today, you've probably lost about $8,000. When I looked at the resale values for these things, you can get one now for even 11 grand, 11, 12 grand, depending on where you look. So they don't hold their value that much. Again, that's because there's so many of them, and the market becomes saturated. But hey, if you're buying this car for the first time and you don't care about the resale value, you definitely will get a great deal as a first-time buyer. Just make sure you hold on to it for a while. Don't sell it immediately, so you get your money's worth. So yeah, that's number one, the price. Now, number two, what I love about this car is the design of it. I love compact cars. I've always driven small cars. Before this car, I drove a Mark 6 GTI and a Mini Cooper S before this car. So I'm a small sports car kind of guy. I'm not into big trucks or whatever have you. And that's partly because, one, parking, and I went to school in New York City and I worked in New York City for a while, so parking was always a bitch out there. So for the design of this car and how compact it is, I love it. So for you as an owner, parking becomes a relatively small issue for you, especially if you're a city driver. You should have no problem fitting in a small tight spot. So yeah, the design, and also it looks great from the outside. I think that's one of the reasons why this car sold so well when they first introduced it in 2012, I believe. People love the way it looks. So, and I still love the design of it. So that's number two. Number three, what I love about this car, let me think, is practicability. So, believe it or not, this car is very practical. It's a very small car, but don't let the outside look deceive you. In here is actually this room to carry stuff. Now, I said stuff, not people. So, now I don't suggest, you probably would not be going on a road trip with your family in a car like this. But if you were to, carry furnitures or groceries or whatever have you, just for everyday stuff, this car can do that. When I first bought this car, like the first 2 weeks or a couple of weeks, I was actually in the process of moving, into a new apartment. And so it was the only car available. And I used this car to carry furniture up and down. I was able to fit 2 small desks in here, some chairs even. So you put those back seats down, you have a lot of room back there to carry stuff. So to be practical, this car can definitely do that for you. You can carry stuff up and down with this. So Practicability definitely gets a green check there. Now, that was 3. Number 4, what I love about the Fiat is the fuel economy. So as much of a sports car guy that I am, I do care about my fuel consumption. 1, because it's better for the environment, and 2, my wallet. You know, I've driven cars. Actually, no, I have not. Most cars that I've driven, I always think about the fuel economy to them, and this car definitely comes up there. On average, I'm getting about 31 miles to the gallon, and this is city and freeway driving. So, and now a lot of my driving here is on the freeway, but you know, being in LA, you run into traffic literally every time you drive. So, but even with that traffic, I'm still averaging about 31 miles to the gallon. On days where there's no traffic, easily 34, 35 miles to the gallon. So for a small car like this, and you know, it doesn't have the biggest engine in the world, but it can get up and go. So you would have no problem, you know, getting speed and traction from the car. But again, it's not the biggest engine in the world. But for the fuel economy, I'm very happy with it. You know, and I drive this car crazy sometimes. I'm not driving crazy right now, but sometimes I do. And the fuel economy is still up there, at least 30 miles to the gallon. So that's one great thing about it. And the last thing I love about this car, this might probably sound like a old record, but the sound. When I first saw this car on YouTube a couple of years ago, it was the sound. I was like, whoa. Because when I think of the other cars that I drove before this, I had to modify the exhaust. I always had to buy a aftermarket exhaust for my cars, and this car needs none of that. You don't need to change the exhaust, except maybe you want to reduce the noise level. If you want to reduce the noise level, then you can get an exhaust for this car. But factory, I am very happy with the sound. How sometimes I really do think it's too loud if I'm driving on a quiet road or street. I feel like it's too loud, but man, it definitely puts a smile on your face. So that's 5 things. I can talk about a lot more things, but we'll keep it at 5 today. So 1 is the price, great price for the value that you get. 2 is the design. Parking would never be an issue for you, and the car looks good. 3 is, you know, the car is very practical. You can put stuff in there. You can take furniture up and down the road, no problem. Don't let the size fool you. And 4 is fuel economy. Drive all you want, you're still really at 30 miles per gallon. And lastly is the sound of the car. This thing is a power rocket, and you also notice a difference in the burp of the exhaust whenever you put the sports button on. It's not on right now, but just naturally, this is fine. This is loud enough, so you can never go wrong with that sound. I really thank Fiat engineers for creating such a beautiful sound for drivers. So yeah, guys, these are the 5 things I absolutely love about this 2015 Fiat Abarth. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope this camera is getting a good angle of my driving here. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave your comments, and if you have not subscribed, please go ahead and do so. Until next time, I will definitely catch you on the next one. Take care. Peace.